It is book review Sunday, and due to me traveling for work last week, I only finished one book, but that is okay because I am adding an extra component to my book reviews. And by only doing one book today, I have more time to fully explain what that component is. So let's get started. Okay, so I read His Rival's Daughter by Chris Redding. I read this book on the Dream app. That's Dreame. And it is a pay per chapter app. I give His Rival's Daughter 4 stars. And as you can see on the screen, I have a what I liked section and what I would add or change. When I was explaining what each star rating means last Sunday, I explained that I'm not going to give every single book that I like 5 stars because 5 stars means I think it's perfect. And I would, if I had the option to write that book, I would not add or change anything to the story or the world building. And I want to be as authentic and honest as possible while still being positive and supportive. So this isn't the what I would change section of my review isn't for me to tear down the author or the story. It's just simply to share my honest opinion. I will still try to be as respectful as possible. So let's jump into what I liked. And I'm going to do the first 2 bullet points at the same time. So His Rival's Daughter has two romance tropes in it. The first is the fake dating or fake engagement trope, where the female main character and the male main character are pretending to date or pretending to be engaged to serve a larger purpose. And in this case, Brandy, our female main character, is caught snooping around in Zach's office. Zach is her new boss, and she is spying on him for her father because her father wants to take down Zach's company. Zach gives her 2 options. You go to jail. I call the police right now, and you go to jail, or you pretend to be my fiance because I need some other gold diggers to think that I'm off the market. This also goes hand in hand with what's called the May-December romance. And a May-December romance is when the love interest characters have a significant age gap. Zach is at least 10 years older than Brandy. It's not, at least if I can remember correctly, it's not stated exactly how many years apart they are, but it's at least 10 because when Brandy was in her preteens, Zach was in his early 20s working for her dad, and she had a crush on him. He knew it, but obviously at the time didn't act on it. And then when she comes back into his life, looking for a job in his company, he sees her for the grown woman that she is. So there's a significant age gap. They are pretending to be engaged. Uh, Brandy's trying to find some dirt on him. Zach is trying to find dirt on her father while trying to keep off these other women who want to trap him into marriage. And what's going to happen? They're going to fall in love. And part of this falling in love is learning to trust each other. They both have skewed views of each other. Brandy's father has taught her some lies about Zach because Zach has issues with her father. He assumes that she's the same as him since her father's the one who raised her. And then they both have dated people in the past who were after their money. And so as they fall in love, they have to learn to trust each other. And one thing I really appreciated throughout this romance was both characters' willingness to apologize and to forgive. Both of them make mistakes. They make accusations and assumptions about the other. And when those accusations and assumptions are proved false, they apologize and the other one forgives them. Quite often, it's Brandy forgiving Zach, saying, I understand, Zach, if I was in your position, I would do the same thing. And so they both, it's a very mature romance in terms of that. And I actually didn't get the bullet point up, but In terms of intimacy, while it does happen, it isn't overtly described. You're not going to get a biology lesson when they're being intimate. And so if you like clean romances, uh, this one would fall under that category. And then there's only two things that I would add or change. The first is Zach's backstory. Um, it's implied in the early chapters that there was some woman in his past who broke his heart, and because of that, he isn't willing to give his heart to any other women, so he dates casually, not seriously. But that's all we get. But it's supposed to be a big part of why he struggles to trust Brandy. And so I would have loved some more information about that, either in a heart to heart with Brandy or maybe that woman shows back up in Zach's life. I think that would have been great for the story. And then, if not, to just have this backstory be out there. So either take out the little bit that was in there or embellish on it. Same thing with the mafia's role. The mafia is kind of a behind the scenes force that is uh, dangerous to Brandy specifically and threatening her. And when we do finally get to meet them towards the end, the resolution is a little anticlimactic for my taste. I like a lot of action and danger in my stories. And so I would have loved the final showdown with the mafia to just have a little bit more oomph than it did. And to be honest, if it had, this story would have gotten 5 stars from me. So there's His Rival's Daughter. If you like billionaire romances, if you like the fake dating trope, if you like May December romances, then this story is for you. And I will see you next Sunday.